Hola y bienvenidos a este video donde vamos a hablar de cosas que hay en la clase. Hello and welcome to this video lesson where we're going to be talking about classroom items in Spanish. Los retos de esta clase son, the goals of this lesson are, to learn the words for classroom items, to understand masculine, feminine and plural nouns, so we're going to look at how nouns change, and to understand how to say what we have or what we don't have in our pencil case. En el aula hay, this means in the classroom there is, so hay, H-A-Y, I means there is or there are. Really useful short word, and just remember not to pronounce the H on that one, so it's I. En el aula hay un estuche. So in the classroom there is a pencil case. Un estuche. En el aula hay una goma. Una goma. Una goma is a rubber or an eraser. Un bolígrafo. Un bolígrafo. So un bolígrafo is a pen. Una regla. Una regla. So una regla is a ruler. Un lápiz. Un lápiz. Un cuaderno. Un cuaderno. Un libro. Un libro. Y finalmente, and finally, una hoja de papel. Una hoja de papel. So again, hoja, remember not to pronounce that H. And the J is like a H sound. Hoja de papel. So you'll notice here we've got what's called the indefinite article, which is the word for a or an in English. Here in Spanish we've got two ways of saying this. We've got un, which we've color-coded in blue, and una. So un is the masculine. So we know that pencil case in Spanish is masculine. Un estuche. And una is the feminine. So a sheet of paper, una hoja de papel, literally means a leaf of paper. So una hoja is a leaf, same as the leaves you get on trees. Una hoja is feminine. So we use una and not un. So they're the two indefinite articles in Spanish. The definite article refers to the word the in English. So think about it this way. If you definitely are referring to a specific thing, let's take a book. If you want to say the book, you're referring to a specific book. So it's a very definite book. Whereas if you say a book, it could be any book, so it's indefinite. And in Spanish, the definite article, so the word for the, can take four forms. So let's have a look at some examples. El libro. So el here is the, and it's the masculine. El libro. La goma. Las reglas. Los bolígrafos. Okay, so here we can see with el libro, the masculine singular. So it's the book, just one book, but it's a very specific book. El libro. With la goma, we can see the feminine singular article. La goma. The rubber. Not just a rubber, but the rubber. With los bolígrafos, we can see the masculine plural. So it would be el bolígrafo, but when there's more than one, it goes to los bolígrafos. And notice that we add an S, the same as we do in English. Most of the time in Spanish we can make words plural by adding an S or an ES in some cases. And then finally, las reglas. Instead of la regla, it goes to las. So the article gains an S and the noun gains an S. So these are the four different ways of saying the in Spanish. So in English it's nice and easy. Everything's just the, the rubber, the rulers, the book, the pens. But in Spanish, we've got to remember whether the word's masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. But don't worry, because you'll get used to this really quickly, and it's nice and easy and follows really sort of strict patterns. So now I'd like us to take a look at the question. ¿Qué tienes en tu estuche? So what do you have in your pencil case? So the verb tener is to have, and here we can see tienes, which means you have. So our response, we need to change that verb so that it represents I instead of you. So our response would be, en mi estuche, in my pencil case, tengo. So tengo, I have. You should have seen this already in the question, ¿Cuántos años tienes? How old are you, or how many years do you have? And we respond, tengo, then the number, años. So we should be quite used to tienes and tengo. So to this question, ¿Qué tienes en tu estuche? We can respond, en mi estuche tengo una goma, un bolígrafo, un lápiz, y, which means and, y una regla. So just like in English, we wouldn't say in my pencil case I have the rubber, the pen. We'd say a rubber, a pen, and so on. So we need to remember to use the right article in Spanish as well. So un or una. Now we can make this a bit more interesting by giving some further details about the items in our pencil case. So hopefully you've seen my video on the colours, and you should know how to change the colours to represent a masculine noun or a feminine noun, a singular noun or a plural noun. If not, I recommend you watch that one after this, or maybe go and watch it now and then come back to this video. So let's look at some examples. En mi estuche tengo una goma blanca. Una goma blanca. So a white rubber. Notice the word order in Spanish is a rubber white. So colours, just like other adjectives, so other describing words, we put the adjective after the noun. So first we'd say rubber, then we'd say white, whereas in English it's the other way around. We'd say white first, and then the thing that we're describing. En mi estuche tengo un bolígrafo negro. Un bolígrafo negro. So notice here, because it's un bolígrafo, it's masculine, negro ends in an O. And then una goma, because it's feminine, we change blanco to blanca, so that it agrees with the noun that it's describing. En mi estuche tengo un lápiz morado, a purple pencil. So in Spanish, a pencil purple, un lápiz morado. And because it's masculine, lápiz, we say morado and not morada. And because these are all singular, we don't need to add an S to the adjective either. So en mi estuche tengo una goma blanca, un bolígrafo negro, un lápiz morado y una regla verde, a green ruler. Because verde ends in an E, it doesn't change from masculine or feminine. It would gain an S for the plural, which we'll look at in just a minute. So let's have a look at this again, and this time I'm going to make some changes. So we've still got una goma blanca. En mi estuche tengo dos bolígrafos negros. Two black pens. So because there's now two of them, I have to make the noun plural. So bolígrafo goes to bolígrafos with an S on the end. And then the word for black also has to reflect this change. So it goes from negro to negros. En mi estuche tengo un lápiz morado. So that's still the same, un lápiz morado. But I've also got dos lápices azules. Dos lápices azules. So I've now also got two blue pencils. So the word for a pencil, lápiz, it's a bit strange and there aren't many words like this, so don't worry too much about it. but it's just a bit strange that when it goes to the plural, we can't just add es, we also have to change the z for a c. It's a bit like words in English like knife, that in the plural goes to knives, and the f changes for a v, or wife and wives, so it's a similar sort of change. And then because there's now two of them, if it were just one, it would be un lápiz azul, but I have to change azul to azules to reflect the fact that the word, the color adjective, is describing a plural noun, because there's two of them. So, en mi estuche tengo una goma blanca, un lápiz morado, dos bolígrafos negros, dos lápices azules y una regla verde. Now, before we continue with the plural nouns, I just want us to think about what we don't have. So in Spanish, it's really easy to change an affirmative statement, so something that's positive, into a negative or a negation. So the question ¿qué tienes en tu estuche just becomes ¿qué no tienes en tu estuche? What don't you have in your pencil case? And instead of saying en mi estuche tengo, we just need to say en mi estuche no tengo. So it's really easy. You just put no before the verb and it creates a negative. So in my pencil case, I don't have. En mi estuche no tengo goma, no tengo regla y no tengo bolígrafo. So you might notice these have changed a bit because we can't see the words for a. So we don't see una or un, we've just got the noun on its own. So in Spanish, you don't need to use the article, which is the word for a or an, when saying that you don't have something. So in English, we'd say, I don't have a pen. In Spanish, you can just say, I don't have pen. No tengo bolígrafo. I don't have ruler. No tengo regla. En mi estuche no tengo regla. Okay, so going back to thinking about plural nouns now, let's go back to talking about what there is in the classroom in general. So, en el aula hay. In the classroom there is, or there are, un estuche, one pencil case, or a pencil case. If we have two, this changes to dos estuches. So now we've given a number to specify how many there are. We now need to add an S to estuche, so that it goes to pencil cases instead of pencil case. So it's very similar to the English that the S, the addition of an S shows you that it's plural. En el aula hay una goma. En el aula hay tres gomas. So again, we're just adding an S. En el aula hay un bolígrafo. Hay seis bolígrafos. Seis bolígrafos. So again, we're just adding an S. En el aula hay una regla. Hay siete reglas. So all of these, because they end in vowels, estuche ends in an E, bolígrafo ends in an O, goma and regla they end in an A, we just have to add an S. With lápiz, which we looked at before, it goes to lápices. It's a bit different because it's a word that ends in a consonant. But most of the time, when things end in a consonant, we just need to add ES in Spanish. Un cuaderno, so that ends in an O. So if we have 8 notebooks, that just needs to change to ocho cuadernos. Un libro, so that also ends in an O, in a vowel. So if we have lots, it would just go to libros. So in this case, cuatro libros. And that brings us to the end of this short video lesson. Muchísimas gracias por ver. Many thanks for watching. I hope that this gives you some new vocabulary to talk about what's in your pencil case, what's in the classroom. Hopefully it's a bit of revision of tengo and tienes, and that's starting to understand the verb tener, to have, and how you can say I have or I don't have. And hopefully it's also given you a bit of insight into how Spanish works in terms of masculine words, feminine words, singulars and plurals, the different ways of saying a or an, different ways of saying the, the way we need to express not having something by not using the article, and also the way we can make words plural. So some next steps you might want to take are to write any of the new vocab down. So if all of that was new to you, I recommend you go back through, pause the video, write down the Spanish and the English so that you can try and learn it. And another activity you could do to consolidate this is to write a few sentences about what you have and what you don't have. Okay, muchas gracias por ver y espero que te vaya muy bien con el español.